Hello, Carol Baker here. Today we're going to look at a pose called head to knee. I'm not sure I agree with the description, and I'll show you why when we go into it. One of the benefits of this pose, really releasing the side of the back here, just above the hip. You know, when you carry stuff, you tend to stick one hip out to the side and you can get quite tight here. So really good at releasing and opening that part. A little bit of hamstrings as well. Lower back completely gets a release because you're folding forward, and a little bit of upper back, neck and shoulders. So it's a seated pose, so we're going to come onto the mat. When we're doing anything seated, it's important that we actually sit on the sitting bones, so we need to just hoik the flesh out of the way. So the first level, the first side, is bringing the left foot up towards the inner side of the thigh. Now it might be this knee is quite high and I could put my cushion, which is over here, underneath that knee for a bit of support. I may use a couple of cushions, but if not, I'm encouraging that knee down towards the floor. I'm going to be sitting directly facing the centre. I'm going to inhale. As I exhale, I'm going to turn now to the straight leg. Now, if you've got tight hamstrings, you may want to put a rolled up towel or something underneath this knee. So I'm going to inhale to lengthen my spine. My foot is flexed, and as I exhale, I'm going to fold forward. Now in this pose as a beginner I found it hugely difficult. I basically could get no further than here. Every other student in the class seemed to have their head right down beyond their knee. So when it's called head to knee pose, I don't necessarily agree with that because that would be putting my head towards my knee. What I'd like to do is actually bring my head forward of my knee. So I could use my hands as a lever. I could actually put a little cushion here so I haven't got so far to go to start with. As I inhale, I always need to lengthen, and I can lengthen forward. My chin is coming towards my big toe. And as I exhale, I'm starting to bring my hands forward. What I'm looking for eventually is to get my elbows to come towards the floor. Once my head is forward of my hips, the only direction I can go is down. So if I let the back of my head release, eventually I will get that head to come towards the cushion. And again, over the course of time, I can only go further forward, but I have to really feel the release through here, through the lower back and through the top of the hamstrings. So I need to keep lengthening. If I push my sitting bones back into the floor, and as I inhale, feel the length here, bring my chin forward to my big toe. As I exhale, I'm laying a little bit more of my rib cage at the top of my thigh. I've got my elbows down now, and then I can just allow the head to eventually release forward. Make sure when you come up out of it, again, it's not too fast. Always lengthen on the inhale, come up with a nice straight back, so you're using the abdominals, and as you exhale, undo back to the centre. Let's repeat it on the other side, and be really interested. If you carry on one side, and that's very common, particularly if you've got children, if you carry heavy items like the ironing or the ironing board, you're going to feel tighter on this side. And you know, I'm always harping on about the fact that yoga is about finding balance and a state of ease within the body. So if this side is tighter, we need to spend longer on it. So the same principle, if that hip is tight and the knee won't come down, I may put a cushion underneath it, but I can also rest the cushion here on my shin. So I'm going to lengthen, inhale here, I'm going to turn, exhale towards this leg. Again, I might need to just make sure I'm balanced on both sitting bones. I'm going to inhale, re-lengthen again, and as I exhale, I'm folding forward. I suggest palms up because otherwise people tend to push, and I know I did that as a beginner. So I slide the backs of my hands on the floor. I inhale, I just find that length from my chin to my big toe, pressing down through my sitting bones. And I exhale, I'm softening my ribs down towards the top of my thigh. Again, I can have a towel underneath my knee if I need to. Once I let my head go, the only position I can release into is forward and down. So use my hands as a lever. Inhale. Exhale, I slide a little bit deeper. Always looking for length before I fold down. I can feel it is a little tighter on this side, so I need to hold it and soften into it a little bit more. So please don't get despondent if you start here, because I absolutely promise you that's where I started. Don't try bouncing and forcing and gritting your teeth, it doesn't work, I've done all of that. Use some cushions and just keep breathing out. I promise you the longer you spend in the pose and the more you relax in the pose, the further forward you will go. Come up, lengthen, 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 inhale, exhale, undo the pose. And then you want to repeat it again, perhaps on the side that was tightest, repeat it a second time. And you're going to start to bring the balance back into the body. Namaste.